Is a cake that's usually made for celebrations, made for Passover, Hanukkah, just about any of the holidays. And you start by, you're going to take the sugar. Enough that it goes into solution really well when you're working with it. So like when you're trying to get things to cream like we're going to do with this, it works really well. So it's to mix with the butter really quick instead of forcing it.
Do you use the same amount?
Use the same amount.
With the regular sugar?
Same amount. It works. My wife, what she likes to do is she likes to buy sticks of vanilla and then take a carton like this and then put the sticks of vanilla in it and then pour the sugar in it, and the sugar becomes acquires the taste of the vanilla. You do a cinnamon or any other thing, and so you have this flavor. You can put them in coffee, and of course you can cook with it still. Now let's see, in this situation, I think it's about 2 1/4 cups of sugar, and the sugar was, let's see, where's my, sticks of butter here. It was about 10 tablespoons, which is almost 2 sticks of butter, and a couple of teaspoons of vanilla, and you're going to cream them together. Basically, you're just mixing them together to become nice and smooth. I like to warm up the butter a little bit. Makes it go into solution faster. Once you have that, then you're going to add your eggs. And your almonds. Now, my wife has a really neat little gadget here. And you can use a food processor or a blender. This little gadget here, just drop those nuts right in there and grind them up. Now, of course, me being a guy, I said, well, why just put a few nuts in there? Just fill the thing up. Well, that's a good way to break the teeth off and then get your wife mad at you. So you don't want to. You know, this little guy just.
How many did you have to buy for your wife, Steve?
We're not going to talk about that.
Steve?
I'm just glad you didn't buy this from that, what was it called, Pampered Chef thing. Yeah.
Steve?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to get my head around Jewish thinking here.
Okay.
On kosher.
Yeah.
How can they think eggs are kosher when they come from the rear end of a chicken?
Well, it's not so much the location on the animal. What it really starts from, kosher, if you really want to go back to the very roots of kosher, you're going to go all the way back to Genesis, and you're going to go to the point where Abel was killed. And when Cain killed Abel. And when Cain killed Abel, what did God say to Cain?
Sacrifice was not of what he desired.
Well, that was the sacrifice, but the actual act of murder. It says, Abel's blood cries out to me. Now, that almost seems like, well, it's like a metaphor or something for death. But it's more than that in Jewish thinking. Blood itself represents life. And only God gives life. And so when you're dealing with things of blood, you have to deal with them in a sacred way. You have to handle them in a way that shows respect and separates it from those things that you're going to consume, because you can't consume life. You're not supposed to mess with life. That's why the ideas of abortion, the ideas of how things are butchered, the ideas of murder and war, all those things are addressed in Scripture because it's dealing with life. And so when it comes to certain foods, sometimes it seems like it's a bit of a reach how they're getting from one thing to another. In fact, my brother-in-law was asking me, he goes, I don't understand how you're getting all the way over, to meats not touching each other and things like that. I said, well, the basic concept here, the fundamental concept, there's a lot of other stuff to deal with, such as, pork pork is just considered not clean, period, just because it's a pig. End of conversation. Just like shrimp. It's a scavenger, not clean. It's just, you just don't eat it. There's no real connection down to blood, but it's just considered not clean. God said it's not clean, it's not clean. End of conversation. That's it.
Yeah, well, the Bible is very specific on certain things.
On certain things, it's very specific. But the other things, they have to kind of weave around this logic of blood and life, and so it finds its way back that way. So it has nothing really to do with where on the animal it is in this case. Okay, so we have some eggs here, and we have our ground up almonds. I think that was about a cup. Yeah, it was a cup of almonds, and this just gets mixed in with the creamed butter and sugar.
I mean, almonds.
And then once those are creamed together, you're going to start adding your flour. Now you got a lot of flour to add, about 4.5 cups of flour. This is all-purpose flour. I just start sprinkling it in and just slowly mix it into it. It's got plenty of liquid in it from the eggs, so you're not going to need to add anything to keep it under control. I know sometimes with some of these recipes, as you start adding flour, it becomes so thick and dense that you can hardly even stir it. This you don't have that problem. Some of the recipes only call for 3 eggs, and you put the 4th egg as a brush on top. Either way you want to do it, so you're going to get that 4th egg in there one way or another. And once you get this all mixed together, you're going to have a nice. Actually, it says to knead it like a dough, like a regular bread dough. And you can do that. It didn't seem like it needed it to me. So once it started becoming a consistency of a dough, I just put it out on one of the whiteboards here. And then, now like last time, I tried to cook the whole thing as one big loaf. And really push the limit to how far you can cook it without starting to scorch it. So this time I just split it in 2. And cook really nice, about 350 for about 30 minutes. You got a nice little golden brown loaf there. That turned out pretty good, I think. Now, my understanding is we've in the past, these have been a little on the dense side. So what I brought some half and half, if you want to try a little bit of it in half and half. And I also brought some other kind of toppings too. I mean, if you just want to try it and be taste it as they would taste it, go right ahead. If you want to try a little half and half on it, or even got some, I think there's some pineapple curd, and there's also some chocolate fudge too. You can try it on that. You can try them all.
And what did you call that again, Steve?
This is a Jewish almond cake.
Oh.
By volume, whenever you add nuts to a cake or something, what's the ratio of nuts to the rest of the ingredients?
There's nothing set.
Nothing set.
Nothing set. People, who like nuts will have a tendency to put more in it, but I've never heard anyone say that, there's a given ratio there.
What
of these foods is they start to become, it's like turkey for us. You know, you can eat turkey anytime you want. There's no real reason why not to. But when you think of turkey, we always think of Thanksgiving. And it's the same thing with a lot of food they have. This one kind of has a tendency to be eaten on Hanukkah.
You ever have any Jewish friends that go to your website and say, for new recipes?
Well, you know,
so you should have done this.
let me see if his picture is on here. My friend is actually, this is a Jewish cook. He's a good friend of mine. And here it is.
You know, you've probably told us before.
Seem to,
So you're on the right there, right? Sorry.
No, he's on the left. It's before he grew up.
Oh.
Is this at the store?
Well, that helps.
Get in there, yeah.
it's one of the little farms.
You know, you've probably told us this before, but how much has it changed from, say, like 2,000 years ago to what Israel eats today? Is it just totally different?
Is
The
the
Jewish
Jewish
community.
Well, okay, that's a real loaded question, because first of all, that would be like asking, how are Christians different? I mean, fundamentally, there still should be the Orthodox who stick very close to the things, the foods that are eaten back then based on what the Torah tells them to eat. However, there's a whole spectrum of Jews that, because the thing is, you can be Jewish by birth, or you can be Jewish by religion, or you can be both. And if you move along that spectrum, do you want to go all the way to Orthodox, or do you want to come all the way back and be just secular, kind of religious? You know, I was born that way, I'm kind of religious.
So it's a total mix of everything.
Yes, so you got that whole mix in there. And when I was at the store, very often I'd have people come in and they'd say, oh, I'm Jewish, do you have food here? And then people would always go, what's this? And,
Yeah, but you were the authority, though.
yeah. That's the Gentile over there, he knows it all. But very often they'd come over to me, and I would get that whole spectrum of people. Some of them, you know, that nobody real Orthodox, and that's understandable, because if you're Orthodox, you would want to be in the store anyway, because the store is not kosher. It's not kosher, no, it's not.
Do they have Orthodox stores?
Yeah.
There was a
Totally different.
Jewish butcher shop near where we lived in Tarzana. And it was amazing how many people would go in there. You know, I thought, is there any business for kosher meat? Wow. Was I surprised
Yes.
seeing piling in there.
Yes. And so what I would say would probably people at least way past, you know, close to the end of the scale. The other end. Orthodox is over here, the other end is over here, and this would be just the you know, the last quarter. Just the people who are, and these people would come in, they'd say, you know, we're going to be having a Passover dinner, and I'm looking for some certain food, a salad, Zimst, do you have any of those? And it's